Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, protector of the fatherland, hero of the Reich, and the guy who does all your wonderful Propagandacasts. So, welcome one, welcome all, and today we're having a 2 versus 2, yes indeed, a 2 versus 2, no more 1 versus 1, at least for today, on the fields of Duclair, although in this case, of course, following in the theme of Market Garden, this will be Dutch Duclair or some other town which was conveniently placed near a river, which of course there were several in Holland, since of course Holland was rather a succession of rivers which had to be secured, or more precisely the bridges have to be secured. So this could be Zorn, it could be Nijmegen, it could be, well, a lot of things, Eindhoven I believe as well, so a bit of fun there. And of course one side will be the British. In fact, we will be having 2 British commanders, not just 1 but 2. Asacopaco, brilliant name, and Man12345, also a great password, in which case of course feel free to brag in front of me, of course in particular if it involves any sort of cash. Never mind. And who shall be opposing me? It shall be BierkastenFestung, which involves beer and fortress. I'm not entirely sure what middle part believes. And we're also having LatrodectusUNLOADED. Not entirely sure what the unloaded means, but probably a clan, either that or he's got an empty clip. And of course the map of Duclair is rather interestingly divided up. Eastern side, rather hilly, rather hard to move through due to the hills, due to the cars, due to the everything else. In fact, of course, this also means it's probably one of the parts that's going to be more ignored by all sides. It's usually the one where there's least fighting. Then you have the west and the center, which is a lot more open. Yes, there's cars, but at the same time there's more routes. It's a bit easier to get around. And this spot, for example, is loved by the British, since they'll set up right here by this medium munitions point, set up some positions, and then get cracking. In particular, this victory point can be covered by mortar emplacements right here. Of course, this rather necessitated that some bocage was removed, thus making it a less strongly defensible position. South is also a bit more open, but at the same time though it just doesn't really have this sort of traction as the center area, which again I do believe comes down to the simple fact it's the shortest point between the 2 bases. And yes indeed, that's pretty much a good rule of thumb to where most of the fighting will be, and if you're clever you might even try to subvert that. Anyhow, so let's get right to it. The British, who shall be the Irish Armoured Guards, huzzah, facing off against the 107th Panzer Brigade with support from, I don't know, I do believe it was called the 6th Fallschirmjäger Corps. I can't remember, it was certainly the Fallschirmjäger Army, which was, or Fallschirmjäger Force, which was partly there, although partly again sort of consisting of Luftwaffe troops and other conscripts, basically given a Luftwaffe or Fallschirmjäger uniform, and so then sort of thrust into the fighting. Yes, I know they don't look like Fallschirmjägers, but again, your imagination. It's a wonderful tool, magical tool. It will take you to places, wondrous places, involving troops, guns, death, tanks, glorious Germans crushing those filthy Britons. I mean, right, let's get on with it. Recon sections heading out.
Right, lads are listening, sir.
Perhaps a bit too low. Right there.
Yes, sir.
There we go. Reconnaissance sections heading out. Plans, BierkastenFestung asks most hurriedly to his friend. Don't have any. Yes, indeed. Always a good plan. I don't have a plan. Brilliant. Victory shall be theirs. Reconnaissance sections heading out. Probably one will be going for this point. Would not be surprising. And of course, considering the way it looks, it rather already looks like the British already have a sort of plan in mind of this. They're going to be dividing the map right here in half, which of course the map is rather suited for, and then of course with this area sort of being the main front line, the forward bit, and of course they'll just be basically trying to hold this victory point and the one up here. Question is of course, how will they be executing it? Pioneers taking this munitions point, lots of talking about here. Fun thing to note at rather this point, at least when I just initially watched it, I'm rather for some reason I got it into my head it was a dual Panzer Elite versus dual Britons, which rather made one of the comments right here that he's going for Volksgrenadiers stand a bit out to me like, wait, what, Panzer Elite with Volksgrenadiers? And then I sort of realized, oh right, Wehrmacht. Panzer Grenadiers arriving from Latrodectus. Sounds awfully Latin. A mean Latin, in fact. Yes, indeed, there we go. Me folks. Although, again, rather not exactly the most high caliber English, or even sort of the thing you would usually say to indicate that you can actually speak coherently. Me folks. Yes, good, Jürgen. Trouble is, you're not the commander now, are you? But shut up. And Panzer Grenadiers, though, coming under fire reconnaissance section, sniping away with glee and merriment, causing some losses to the Panzer Grenadiers. Volksgrenadiers are now rhyming, or Volksjägers, I suppose we could call them, just for the fun of it. And there we go, heavy losses for the Panzer Grenadiers. This engagement, number one, is not going to be going well. Minor losses for the reconnaissance chaps. But more infantry sections are marching in. Headquarters command truck is on the move, and of course something to note. Headquarters command truck number 2 is positioned up right here, but when you have, of course, a 2 versus 2 game, the sort of normal disadvantage there would be to sort of moving the headquarters command truck vanishes. There is none. Since as long as one part is connected, you have connection to all, so of course that also means that the Britons gain a nasty sort of synergy right here in 2 versus 2 games. It doesn't matter if they have a British or an American teammate, but they can gain a really nasty one through that, of course, since they can gain a lot more resources that way, and of course they don't have to worry about such fierce Volksgrenadiers doing their best, but they're getting gunned down. Lots of Britons everywhere, and the Volksgrenadiers are making a hasty run for it, not liking this one bit. More Volksgrenadiers ready, Panzer Grenadiers, and looks like some pioneers sneaking about. Lieutenant in the south, Kettenkraut in the south as well. No doctrine as of yet due to the sort of markings right there on the back. Pioneers engaging a lieutenant, sending him packing home. And looks like we're seeing a casualty clearing station up, although I would like to point out this is not the place where we want to see it. Why is that? I'll briefly pause again. Well, if you might notice right here, again we're sort of expecting this to be the sort of main front line. What's rather the thing rather noticing here? There's absolutely nothing covering the casualty clearing station. Why is that important? Because casualty clearing stations, medic bunkers fall into something we call priority targets. Why is that? Because they can recover the wounded, thus strongly lessen the rate of attrition, meaning of course you won't be suffering so heavily, and of course you'll be getting fresh troops. Why is that important? Because, well, again, fresh troops decreases the manpower loss totally, and that of course is important to knock out any particular casualty clearing stations, and medic stations are rather much more vulnerable since they're of course not made of concrete. So when we keep that into mind, it's a bit of a stupid mistake to be placing it right out here in the open, in particular when you just go up here and my goodness, that would be something protecting it. By Jove, how could this be? Some sort of witchcraft? No, it's already always been there, but again, sort of try to place it, or even, you know, on the other side right here. That would also be covered, and those medics won't be carrying if it's just 1 more or 2 more meters. They will move out and pick up the wounded. Keep that in mind. Very important, and it is returned to the fight. And we're seeing a bunker going up, probably going to be a medic bunker again. It sort of falls into the rule of don't place it out in the bloody open. So again, of course, it's concrete, so it's going to be slightly tougher, but still don't, because anti-tank assets will still target it down. But still not a bad idea, in particular again when you're going to have a Panzer Grenadier commander who's going to be playing around with a lot of infantry, so of course you'll be getting infantry from that as well. So good show there. Bunker up. Panzer Grenadiers and Volksgrenadiers firing. More Volksgrenadiers moving in. Kampfgruppe company going up. Britons engaging, although again across open ground. Be careful about that. Panzer Grenadiers getting sniped, pulling back towards the bunker. Volksgrenadiers out in the open. They might have wanted to get down some sandbags before that. Perhaps, you know, create a sort of defensive position. Charging at the reconnaissance section. Reconnaissance section running away. Volksgrenadiers moving in. Lots of guns. Panzer Grenadiers in the north. And there we go, some cover for the Volksgrenadiers. Infantry sections out in the open again. Do not stand out in the open. That's generally considered a bad thing. Medics moving in to pick up those wounded German soldiers. Infantry sections running away, having taken heavy losses. But then again, things have also been a bit dicey for the Germans. Medics moving in to pick up all the wounded. Half-track coming up. Good show. Lots of Panzer Grenadiers though hanging about. Not entirely sure what to do. Perhaps waiting for the half-tracks, since some are wounded. Trying to take this victory point, but coming under fire. Reconnaissance section moving in, and rather looks like the Asacopaco of the Irish Armoured Guards, at least one battalion, isn't quite living up to his sort of side of the things. He's got a lot of infantry hanging back instead of right here at the front. But although it looks like, my goodness, both players are laying down mortar emplacements, they're really going heavily for the artillery. And of course this could prove, oh dear, rather nasty, in particular now that a lot of Panzer Brigades are moving in. But then again, clumped up, don't want to be that. They're of course trying to target down something here. Of course the infantry is a good choice because, again, infantry constructing are a lot easier targets. And there we go, heavy losses. Oh, the every contact section while is being reinforced, taking heavy losses. Grenades being lobbed, assault grenades, mortar emplacement ready. Both mortar emplacements ready. This is going to be a very, very nasty exchange. Assault grenades though going off, clearly meaning that the Wehrmacht commander of the Fallschirmjägers has gone for a blitzkrieg. Panzer Brigade is now forced into a more sturdy run. Reconnaissance sections advancing, and of course the cavalry clearing station can, of course, with a small cost of munitions, heal troops. That of course is an advantage, and of course might be why he wanted also to keep it here so he can heal his troops. But again, it also makes it a pretty big target. And there we go, infantry section reformed, reconstitute. That's a really good start. Kettenkraut though pushing in here through the south, not looking too good there. Panzer Grenades and an infantry half track. All good, all good. We're seeing a creek barracks going up. Nothing though here from LatrodectusUNLOADED and from our British comrades. Not much else, although a field support truck has arrived on the field. And another one as well. Looks like they've got something planned out already. Reconnaissance section engaging the Britons. The Panzer Grenadiers here. Grenadiers getting ready. Some slightly more sturdy Fallschirmjägers, then again, they're not really looking like it. Again, I'd rather wish that Relic perhaps had made some sort of skins available. There you go. Half-track and Grenadiers firing away at these chaps. Grenadiers advancing, mortar rounds flying through the air, infantry section advancing, though without the supervision of a lieutenant. Apparently they have none. That's been unfortunate. Grenades being locked at the reconnaissance section gets out of the way, although taking quite some losses, some wounds. Grenadiers under fire, mortar rounds flying through the air continually. And let's go have a look at Asacopaco. We'll just call him Asa, because I can't really be asked to continue to try and pronounce that disaster of a name. Infantry section, infantry half-track, I mean, suppressing the infantry section. Grenadiers and Volksgrenadiers sort of lining up in a very nice big spot. Would be a very nice target for artillery. Mortar rounds perhaps, but then again they can't fire this far unless of course one has gone for infantry. I mean Royal Canadian Artillery. And the Kettenkraut comes under fire. Bren Gunner's now ready. Captain moves in, dashing with his Webley revolver. Britain's moving through the north. Quite a bit going on here. German troops moving through the south. Panzer Grenadiers and now Luftwaffe squads, meaning some more regular Luftwaffe troops have been called in from somewhere to assist the 107th Panzer Brigade of this larger force being sent in to attack. And looks like an infantry reconnaissance section is coming under quite a bit of fire from both Volksgrenadiers and Grenadiers. And Kettenkraut coming under fire from the Stuart. Light tanks have arrived for the Irish Guards. Recce leading the way. Question is, how much more will there be? And the British are pushing through in the north. Good show there. Mortar rounds continuing to land everywhere. And looks like the German forces under BierkastenFestung are moving through the south, perhaps hoping to flank around here and get a good attack on the mortar pit. Certainly not a bad idea. In fact, Veteran C2 now up in his infantry. Stuart moving in. Oh dear, yes indeed. One shot and 2 Volksgrenadiers dead. And a cancer shot could really cause some heavy losses right here. This is a rather clumped up force. Well, yes, cancer shot. And an entire Volksgrenadier team shredded, slaughtered. Now more British forces are moving in to put a stop to this advance by the Fallschirmjäger forces, forcing them to run away most hurriedly. Not a good assault. Kettenkraut doing a bit of harassment behind enemy lines, taking points. No names though. Stuart advancing, although an anti-tank half-track is ready, destroying the engine. Oh dear, Stuart light tank is in trouble, it needs support. The anti-tank half-track might be knocking out, there we go. The small 37mm anti-tank gun managed to knock it out, that was not a good start. Infantry section standing out in the open, so is the Bren gun section. They need to retreat. Lots of troops right here, and of course Luftwaffe troops. Do not underestimate them. They can still be very dangerous if used properly, just like Volksgrenadiers. Bren gun section advancing, opening up on these Luftwaffe troops, but they are simply getting gunned down. Too much firepower being fired at them. More Bren gunners, no rifle grenades though, which is rather interesting considering there's so much clumped up infantry that a rifle grenade would be absolutely brilliant. Medics pulling in the wounded from all sides. Reconnaissance section, and looks like this medic is going to get cut down by the Britons. There we go. Grenadiers and Volksgrenadiers counter-attacking from the north. And looks like a Pack 38 is on the move as well. And Veteran C2 for the infantry, of course, giving elite armor for the more solid Grenadiers, and for the Volksgrenadiers giving slight damage reduction and suppression resistance. And this Bren gun section needs to get out of there. Too much firepower being directed at it. A reconnaissance section right down there in south doing nothing to help. Oh dear, one man left. Retreat. And now it's simply too late, though. Stuart advancing, opening up, taking a bit of fire. That anti-tank. No, it's a Pack 38. Opening up with the support of the light anti-tank half-track. Quite a bit of Panzer Abwehr fire being directed at all of this. Stuart will have to retreat, and looks like an armored command truck has arrived. And let us go have a look at our friend who has gone blitzkrieg, the Wehrmacht commander, in this case the sort of Fallschirmjäger commander. Though again, they don't really look like Fallschirmjägers, but again, imagination. Lieutenant opening up, and so far the British strategy with sort of trying to establish a defensive line right here, and of course keep this point open. Lots of emplacements, all that is rather working well, although they are taking some losses right now, then they're getting spread out, and the Wehrmacht forces are quite better, the Axis forces in general are better at keeping their forces together and supporting each other, which rather seems to be the problem that the British commanders so far have. Stuart getting repaired by some sappers right away. Grenadiers have been reformed, meaning 2 Grenadier teams and 2 Volksgrenadier teams, a Pack 38 and some Pioneers. Bunker going up. This looks like a repair bunker, in fact. That's going to be of help. Certainly, and a Wirbelwind flak panzer has arrived, ready with its flak-filling mount. The Wirbelwind will shred infantry. British troops are advancing. They certainly still hold the advantage. Oh dear, Stuart tank right out in the middle of everything needs to retreat. Despite its protection against Panzer, it still needs to be careful. Although a good cancer shot right there could do quite a bit of damage. And a Grenadier team absolutely slaughtered. Again, good usage of the canister shots. Anti-tank half-track moving in from the rear though. Panzer shots. And the line anti-tank infantry half-track though filled with Panzer carrying troops. Stuart light tank might not survive, and knocked out in the name of the fatherland. A good shot there, but there are still more Stuarts to come to be thrown at the Krats, the Huns, the Jerrys. Recon section moving in, perhaps a bit hastily. Bren gunners also moving in, and another Stuart ready to provide some heavy fire support. Volksgrenadiers and Grenadiers out in the open. Stuart charges in. Machine guns blazing, and so is the gun, but mind you, most guns on tanks, that is hull and coaxial MGs, are pretty much rubbish. Sadly, I wish that was not the case, and who knows, perhaps in Company of Heroes 2. And Wirbelwind infantry half-track advancing. Commandos dropping in, my goodness, relying on its support from the 1st Infantry Airborne Division somehow. Dropping in, they might want to get into cover though, and perhaps drop in a grenade through that window. And this looks like to be a major concerted assault by numerous British commanders. The commanders though really need to get in there and do something. There we go, moving in. A grenade would be great. Volksgrenadiers assaulting. And I do believe, my goodness, they are laying down a demolition charge. That's incredibly risky. If it goes off right while they're finished, they will be killed. Needs to get out of there. Was it finished? I don't know. Grenadiers under fire. And looks like a 17-pounder gun is ready. Quite powerful anti-tank gun. Oh dear. Wirbelwind flak panzer turret is pretty much useless. The gun is out, and the 17-pounder gun firing away. Grenadiers charging though, but a Cromwell has arrived on the field as well. The Irish Armoured Guards now really sending in the armor. And a Grenadier team is lost. Heavy losses. Numerous Stuarts on the field as well. My goodness, I've rarely seen this many Stuarts actually. Quite interesting, and of course Stuarts are not bad, in particular after the patch where they did get an accuracy increase. So good show there, really putting on the pressure on the Wehrmacht forces. The 107th Panzer Brigade, which hasn't really brought in any panzers as of yet, or the Fallschirmjäger troops, are looking a bit torn up. And now the Cromwell moves in, flanks about the pack, but no. Anti-tank half-track knocks out the engine, immobilizes it. Sappers moving in with their Piats. Stuart's moving in, and oh dear, this could be the end for the Cromwell if it is not careful. But the Stuart charges in. Luftwaffe troops en masse are being sent in to aid this situation as well. Cromwell lost. And oh dear, these Stuarts needs to get out of there quickly. Quickly, my friends. Bren gunner suppressed. Stuart's continuing to take fire. Sappers moving in. Stuart number 1, oh dear, is gone. Last remaining Stuart needs to get out of there. This could easily turn ugly. And by ugly, I mean very ugly. Pack has been remanded by Sappers, but it is immediately cleared out. I do believe that in fact cost them a Sapper team. That was quite a waste though. In particular since they had been upgraded with Piats. And again, that rather seems to have been a rather... The idea went off well in the start, but then of course it failed, and they weren't quick enough to get out their troops, which rather meant they've now lost a Sapper team, a Cromwell, and 2 Stuarts. That's quite some heavy losses. But they're still holding on to this area. They still have a 17-pounder gun. But now it looks like in the meanwhile the German forces have been pushed through. Fallschirm Pionieren, I suppose we would call them, and they did exist. They were pretty tough. Pioneers in general, pioneers were tough troops, but the Fallschirm Pionieren were some of the most tough. And let us go look at Latrodectus, who has gotten access to the Flak 88. They're about to be in the world of world of hurt indeed. Flugzeugabwehrkanone 88. 88 millimeters of high explosive death shall be raining down upon them, and that 17-pounder gun will not be able to survive that. Stuart sneaking about. In fact, he's getting more Stuarts. No armor command truck for Man. And the Flak 88 just blasting away at the Britons. Stuart's not really able to... The mortar emplacements not really able to help. And those Stuarts will be facing problems as well. Pack coming under fire. No further commandos it looks like though. And artillery though going in on this position. My goodness, commando artillery being summoned in. Or could it be officer artillery? I'm not sure. Flag 88 cleared out. It is still there, but the crew is not. Bren gunners under heavy fire, trying to advance. Luftwaffe troops moving in to recrew. Stuart moving in from the north. And looks like a British assault as well. No commandos though. They seem to have vanished completely. Seems a bit sad. No, wait, they're there. And the British attack moving in from the north. Flag 88 concerned with the south. Kettenkrat spotting for the Flag 88, not a bad idea. It looks like the 17-pounder is knocked out. British troops are marching in from the rear, but perhaps should have coordinated with the other chaps so they would have been occupied right here, or perhaps with some artillery. And a Kettenkrat goes up, but the British also take heavy losses in the process. Volkswagen is advancing now with Veterancy 3. Flag 88 blasting away. Do believe it is time for a mid-game analysis, although more artillery moving in. So currently the Britons actually hold quite a bit of the map. They sort of have the German strong point here in a sort of pincer, or at least territorial wise, although again they don't quite have something here in the south which could actually work quite well, although it looks like a priest has arrived quite at the same time. Interesting, and well, onslaught, yes indeed it shall be if it hits. But the repair bunker still stands. The medic bunker though has been cleared out. Again, not so good position. Cromwell moving in from the north as well. Really a push right there, and artillery of course could knock this area out if all goes well, but the Wehrmacht, the Axis forces, rather need to stop just sort of bunching up the forces here. They need to be hitting from other points which actually work well for them. But now they seem to be sort of be penned in, which is not really working out for them. And then at the same time though, if they keep up this rate and the British keep throwing away their troops and vehicles like this, so at the same time that might also prove to be an opportunity, because again the British can't really sustain these losses, in particular in terms of vehicles, where they've already lost quite a bit to one unhealthy attack, and this one also looks like to be going tits up. That's not really looking good, and might lose some more armor. But again, it all depends. Will this priest self-propelled artillery gun be able to preach the proper sermon to the, well, the faith, well, the unfaithful in this case, and show them the error of their ways. So let us get right to it. And Flak 88 once more, the crude artillery landing. Just hammering away. Was that the priest of fire? Not entirely sure, but that certainly did quite a bit of damage. Another bunker going down, but it's quite in the line of fire. Anti-tank half-track might be knocked out by the Cromwell. Will Cromwell wreak havoc? And yes, there we go. Slain by the Lord Protector himself. The light after half-track crashes into a part of the ridge and pulls out. Commandos charge again, gunning down the false grenadiers and grenadiers out in the open. The Wehrmacht having a bit of problem again, sort of clumping up, making themselves a nice target for artillery, but at the same time, the Wehrmacht part of the bit really needs some support. He's rather lacking in anything besides infantry. He's really just only using infantry, which is rather not working to his advantage. He needs MGs, snipers, mortars or something. Perhaps a half-track, but of course he's now going for the Panzer Command. That might prove to be his key to victory. And more artillery landing on this spot. Not entirely sure where he's hoping to hit, but there at least goes one Panzer Grenadier. Another one. And the Flak 88 also takes a hit, but that doesn't seem to be doing much. Medics continue to pull in the wounded. They've still not spotted this Kettenkrab, which is acting as a spotter. Rather interesting, of course. Artillery is accuracy or at least scatter depends on how far they should attack, and if they have line of sight. In this case, of course, they didn't have line of sight, and they was quite far away from these 2 points. Of course, quite a heavy scatter. More Cromwells arriving on the field, slowly pulling back. Stuart still sneaking about, doing what they can. Kettenkrab still being really sneaky. More sappers moving in. Let us go return to Man12345 with this Royal Canadian Artillery, his priest. Storming in. Oh dear, this could be the end for the Kettenkrab if it spots it. No, it won't, it seems. Pack 38 advancing, ready for flanking position on any sort of armor moving through here. Not a bad idea. British troops are moving across open ground. That's not quite what I recommend, but they're opening up. And more artillery. Yes, there we go. Right down on this spot. My goodness, the Flak 88 is once more cleared out. Cromwell's charging in now that the artillery has been cleared out. That was actually pretty well timed. In fact, good coordination between the two. One takes out the Flak 88, then the other moves in his Cromwells, although he has to be careful. More artillery being called in on the medic bunker right there. Light anti-tank half, and now Panthers have arrived. The one thing they did not prepare for, the Panzer arriving in, knocking out the other Cromwell. Might of the 107th Panzer Brigade moving ahead at full speed, blasting away with its guns. And this Stuart won't be able to survive that for sure. Priest is awfully close to the front line though. Oh dear, he needs to get away. Why did he move so close? Artillery going down on the Flak 88, once more decrewing it. Panther advancing. Oh dear, this is not looking good for that Stuart, and that Priest might also be knocked out if it hasn't already been. Yes indeed, cleared out. Now the Panther is dominating the field. Stuart out of control. All is currently lost. That was a pretty huge blow to the British, and right now BierkastenFestung is really pushing through with his Fallschirmjäger troops. And suppose ersatz Fallschirmjägers, whatever. Cromwell dueling it out with the Panther, hoping to flank it. Not a bad idea, but it lacks the support. Another Flak 88 going up, ready to replace the one lost. Panzerschrecks flying through the air. Hold by some pretty veteran Panzerschreckers. And artillery going straight down on the Panther. Will it make it out of there? Yes, indeed. Panzerschrecks going down on the mortar pit. Casualty King Station and the other mortar pit already gone. Grenadiers and false grenadiers out in the open. Not looking good. Bren guns tearing through them, but so as well is the mortar pit getting torn through. And there's absolutely nothing to stop it. Cromwell command tank, which of course means there's been no preparation whatsoever for something like a Panther, so a Firefly will probably soon be forthcoming. Artillery going down on the position of the Panther veterancy. 2 Panzer Grenadiers obliterated. My goodness, dying. Flak 88s, Wirbelwinds, Panthers. All the good stuff. And lots of troops And another casualty killing station going down, this time in the proper position, which you probably could have saved a lot more resources that had been placed there earlier. But Germans are moving through the north, and oh dear, Mr. Asa's trucks are right now rather exposed, since of course there's absolutely nothing to protect them. But looks like he is counterattacking rather swiftly to ensure they don't get knocked out. Cromwell command truck moving ahead. Medics pulling in the wounded. Flak 88 blasting away. Artillery once more getting called in. On the Flak 88. Yes, there we go. Will it be cleared out once more? Yes, indeed. The crew once more dead. There's very low survival rates for these Flak 88s people. Flak feeling right behind them. Oh, Wirbelwind ready to provide some AA cover, but there's not really much use for that right now. Looks like the British are doing their best right here in the north, but they are not having much luck. Pioneers are sneaking through, taking points. Taking out quite a lot of points, actually. Panther moving ahead, although quite damaged. It could get buttoned down. And the, oh dear, the artillery opens up right close to it, although it fires too far. And the Panther looks like to be moving into it. Infantry half-track out of control. Panzer Grenadiers retreating, taking heavy losses. My goodness, that was a rather interesting hit right there.
Go on, sir.
Quite some action. Something got knocked out. That looks like to be the Cromwell command tank. The Flak 88 once more firing away. Panther is ready, and what is this? Another? No, it's a Tiger tank. From where, I don't know, but there's a Tiger tank arriving on the field. That's certainly going to put up the pressure on the Irish Armoured Guards, who've certainly been suffering quite some armor losses by now. In particular, the reconnaissance divisions really has, no, reconnaissance battalion really has taken quite a beating, lost quite a few stewards, which is rather making things a lot more difficult for them. Bren gunners moving in. No Piats, no anti-tank assets, but there we go. Firefly armed with this. Hang on, need something to drink. Firefly with the 17-pounder moving in to end the threat of the big cat. Artillery being summoned in. Tiger buttoned down. 17-pounder opening up right on its side of the Tiger SV-22. Now artillery is hitting it as well. Quite some hits right there. Flak 88 still a threat. Pack 38 cleared out. Oh dear, looks like the British might try to recruit it. Wirbelwind opening up on what looks like to be a maneuver from the south. Bren gunners and a Stuart moving about. Pack 38 not recruit though. Light anti-tank half-track moving in. Luftwaffe troops getting shot down. Flag 88 turns to the south. Lieutenant moves in. Headquarters command truck knocked out. Oh dear. Artillery called in right there. And looks like the Flag 88 will be cleared out again. There we go. Not much luck with that. Pack 38 recruit, although it is quite damaged, so unless very careful it will be knocked out. And Germans are counter-attacking through the center. Breaking through now that most of the resistance has been pounded into submission by the... Oh my goodness! Priest clears out the Grenadiers. Absolutely horrific losses right there. But now things are certainly clear and the Panther moves in. Sappers holding the line down south. More infantry moving in. Lieutenant hiding in the building. Directing the fight. 17-pounder equipped Firefly dueling with the Panther. But the Panther is veterancy 3. And Luftwaffe being called in, of all the things actually appearing. Henschel strafing runs coming in, opening up with its 75mm gun, blasting away at the Fireflies. My goodness, so much going on. My throat. Fireflies getting brutally bashed asunder. Panther and Tiger knocking out another Firefly. The Irish Armoured Guards are getting absolutely slaughtered by now. The front line has crumbled. All hope is lost. The Britons are getting massacred despite their best efforts. And more Stuarts are just getting rushed in. The cavalry apparently feeling it can save the day. And now the Kettenkrad here finally gets spotted after so long time. It's no more. And this lieutenant might as well be joining that soon if the Tiger 88 gets his way. Veteran 1 Lieutenant on the move. Let us go ahead and look at whatever. Calling in the 25-pound artillery barrage on something. Probably that Flag 88 once more. There we go. And the Stuart apparently managed to survive that. Although just barely. The northern front of the Irish Guards has utterly crumbled. The Germans are holding on most heroically through some rather decisive maneuvers. Pioneers moving in to salvage the Fireflies for ammunitions. Wirbelwind opening up on the British troops, trying to move ahead to the Flag 88 to recruit it. Stuart moving in as well, and the Panther moves in, finishes the job. Pack 38 recruit opens up on the Wirbelwind, but the Panther might knock it out very soon, or so might the Tiger. There we go. Tiger reports target is no more. The Pack 38, once German, then British again, was no more. Sappers retreating, and it certainly looks like the British will be forced to pull out. Firefly advancing. Priest continually, desperately trying to contain everything. Hold this line together for King George and the Union Jack. But no such luck, and now the Priest comes right into confrontation with the Panther and the Tiger. And the Priest will not survive that. There we go, no more. Stuart moving in, moving right past them in fact. Hitting the rear of the Panther.
One of our forward sectors.
Fireflies moving in. Panther and Tiger exposing its rear, not too good there. And another Flag 88. My goodness, he must have an unlimited supply. But then again, with the Luftwaffe troops, of course, there are probably going to be some AA weaponry right there. And looks like the Stuart, I have lost count of how many, have been lost right down there in the south. And looks like the British are rather left behind in a very small sector of an area. Another Firefly arriving, my goodness. The British armor just doesn't stop coming. And looks like a Stu-42 Sturmhaubitze 42 has arrived. Probably from some left behind stock of armored vehicles that was forgotten. Perhaps in the retreat. But moving in to support the Panther and the Tiger. Firefly setting up in a slightly defensive position, trying to keep back the Germans. Panther takes heavy damage, but it's surprisingly not been knocked out yet. And the Luftwaffe once more arrives. The Henschel moves in, opens up. My goodness, the Firefly already knocked out almost. The other one not looking too good. It's moving in to try and knock out that Panther. Oh dear, very dangerous. Looks like another Firefly was in fact knocked out. Not entirely sure where the other one is, but it is no more. It seems. No, it's here in the north. Trying to get away. And now the field support truck instead takes the wrath of the Henschels. Sappers cleared out. Panther takes fire from the Firefly, but the Firefly moves right into the line of fire of the Tiger and right into the line of fire of the Luftwaffe pilots. Heroically dashing in, opening up. Oh dear, heavy losses. Firefly knocked out. Sappers dying. And it looks like the British strategy of trying to hold this area has utterly failed again due to a rather lack of flexibility and lack of anti-tank assets, which came in much too late. Stu-42 opening up, so is the Tiger. Panther back for repairs. Looks like only a Stuart, a damaged Firefly, and some other assorted wounded troops are currently what's holding the entire thing together for the British, which tends to mean then there's not much left in terms of hope. This is pretty much the last stand for the Allied forces. The Irish Armoured Guards have taken quite the bloody nose. Another Firefly gone. I do believe that makes it the 4th or perhaps even the 5th. That would certainly be a section of Fireflies. Certainly quite costly, in particular since they weren't actually moved in as entire sections. They were sort of given to German sections or any other armored sections sort of used to support those with heavier firepower. Stuart light tank now in the middle of the thing, taking heavy fire from the Tiger. The Tiger, undaunted, slaughters its way through the British lines. And there we go, Asa has pulled out. Stuart lost. Field support track won't be much longer either. Good job, bye. Very polite. And I'd say that looks like the British have absolutely nothing left than except their trucks. And that won't even last much longer. So let us speed things up. Infantry section actually arrived, but then gets torn apart. And there we go, man gets out of there. Quite the match, wouldn't you say so? What can we learn? Well, rather dependent on this area, this was rather the strong point of the British. It was quite clearly defined, and in fact it worked quite well. Trouble was, though, in their strong point plan, they rather had one flaw. It wasn't too well prepared for anti-tank duties, and of course the counter-clearing station was a bit too exposed. But once the 17-pounder cleared out, there wasn't much to hold back the Panthers and everything else, and of course there was also this those Flak 88s also proving to be quite a nuisance. But also I rather feel that they had a tendency of making some armored dashes which didn't quite work out for them, which rather cost them rather heavily. For example, the one right here, which I believe might have been the turning point where they went in with 2 Stuarts, a Cromwell and some other bits, and then lost all the armor. That didn't quite work out well and pretty much handed the advantage to the German forces, which then of course managed to push onwards. Of course, one problem there was for the BierkastenFestung, our Fallschirmjäger friend, of course, who doesn't look like it, though he was rather relying only on infantry without really any support assets. No MGs, half-tracks, snipers, mortars, anything like that. And as you might have noticed, that also left him a bit too weak, unsupported, whereas the Panzer League commander with his half-tracks and infantry and other bits did reasonably better. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this fight. If you did, why not subscribe or tell your friends, and if you didn't, well, why not send in a replay of your own. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.